Hello students, this is Arun and this PPT is about variance analysis. Why variance analysis is important in F&B management? It is important. As we've discussed earlier, we have seen that in briefings that we do before and after our operations, we often discuss what is our actual sales and what were the budgeted sales. And if there is, what is the difference between the two? For example, let's say our budgeted sale for the day was 1 lakh rupees and we have only achieved 90,000 rupees end of the day. So the difference is 10,000. That is called the variance, the difference between the actual and the budgeted. So let's look at the definition. The main difference between standard and actual is known as variance, and the detailed analysis of the factors that are influencing such differences and finding remedial solution to eliminate undesirable difference is known as variance analysis. Now, as I've given this example, that our budgeted sale was 1 lakh rupees and our actual sale is only 90,000 rupees. So we have lost 10,000 rupees of the projected sale. Now we need to do an analysis on the reasons why we have lost these 10,000 rupees of the projected sales. So this is the reason why variance analysis is very important for us. A variance is said to be ideal when the actual cost is less than the standard and unfavorable when it exceeds the standard cost. Now, what is standard cost? It refers to the expected cost under anticipated conditions. Standard cost system allows for comparison of standard versus actual costs. Differences are directly referred to as standard cost variance. Variance should be strictly investigated if significant variance is found. Standard costs are developed in a number of ways, specified by the formulas or the recipes, developed from the price list provided by the suppliers, determined by time and motion studies to be conducted in case of industrial engineers, and developed from analysis of past data from previous years. Let me share an example. Let's say we have a banquet facility and our projected or our budgeted food cost is 25%. And at the end of the month, we discover that our actual food cost instead of 25% is 30%. Now we need to investigate why there is a variance in our food costs. This can be if there is a problem with the recipe. Let's say the recipe states that we need to put only a 1 kg of lamb in our lamb biryani. But we find out somebody has been adding, instead of 1 kg, has been adding 1.5 kgs of lamb in our lamb biryani. So that is the reason why there is a variance in our food cost. The other reason can be that we have had a contract with our suppliers that they will provide us the lamb at a certain rate, but they have increased the rate and our purchase department or our receiving department has not been able to catch on that discrepancy. So that is the reason why we will get cost variance. Cost variance, ideal versus attainable standards. Ideal standards, the perfect standards as set up by your recipes, these are developed under the assumption that no obstacles to the production process will be encountered. Attainable standards, these are developed under the assumption that there will be an occasional problem in the production process. Next comes the material variance. Types of variance. Material variance. The difference between standard and actual material cost is known as the material variance. It is of two types: material price variance, material quantity variance. Reasons for material price variance: fluctuations in market price, inefficient buying, emergency purchase, pricing policies, frauds, inappropriate SOP, and the responsible departments not paying enough attention to detail. Let us take an example. Let us say, as I've already discussed, we will continue with the example of lamb. It says that the material price variance comes because the responsible departments have not been able to uh, have not been paying attention to detail, and they have not found out that the price of lamb has been increased from what it was stipulated in your contract. So that is why your material price variance is coming. So reasons for material variance are lack of care while in use, excessive wastage, defective material, poor quality, incorrect specification, lack of training, difference in quality, lack of supervision, and defective production. Now let's talk about labor variance. Labor rate variance. Now the difference between your actual labor cost and your budgeted labor cost, the difference is known as the labor variance. And what are the possible reasons? Selecting wrong grade of workers, overtime for urgent reasons, change in basic wage rate, higher rate for quality, and seasonal demands. Let's say that we have budgeted our labor costs, and then due to different or various reasons we we had to hire workers at a much higher rate or a much higher salary than anticipated. So these can be the reasons for your labor variance. Labor efficiency variance possible reasons: defective material, lack of supervision, poor working conditions, breakdown, power failure, change in production method, lack of skill, labor turnover, discontent, responsible department, individual department personnel. So how do you calculate the labor efficiency variance? That is actual hours minus the standard hours. Let's go to overhead variance. Now, what are the difference? Now, what is overhead variance? Overhead variance is the difference between your budgeted and your actual, and the reasons of for overhead variance are inefficiency, inexperienced labor, different material, new tools being used, operational changes, lag or rush of order, breakdown, more or less working days, supply deal, and power supply. Sales price variance. The difference between your budgeted and your actual sales price is the variance, sales price variance. Now, unexpected variance, rise in price level and less quantity of production. Next is your food and beverage variance that we should be really interested in. So the variance analysis, which is particular for F&B service department, can be divided broadly into sales based variance, in sales price, sales volume, cost based variance, food usage, food price, yield standard, food usage variance, etc. This is the end of the slideshow. Thank you for watching.